Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing. Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing Sports. Please subscribe to the channel. So my question is, if PBC and Showtime were overpaying fighters, did they overpay themselves too? And that's a serious question, you know, and I need an answer to that, because I'm gonna tell you why, right? Because I went back and forth today with Rick Glaser, right? You know, I went out there and subscribed to him, to his channel, because, you know, he always has something interesting to say, right? But he was saying that, I'm going to pull it up for you so you can see what he was saying, because I was a little, you know, I was a little surprised. Where it is? Oh, here it is, right here, right. I'm gonna show you something here. Where is that? Okay. Okay, here we go. Right, I'm gonna show you something. Not that. Let me pull it up right here for you. Right here. Okay. Check this out. So right here, right? This guy at Hard Times, he says, Rick, if you could narrow it down, what's the main thing that Heyman did wrong in terms of keeping Showtime in boxing? He says drastically overpaying fighters, right? Now, my thing is, if you're overpaying fighters, right? That's my thing. And he's saying how Showtime was losing a fortune. But if this is a money thing, okay, I come back and I say, if you make it sound like Espinosa may have pocketed some of that big fight money for himself. Because to me, when a person is talking about, oh, fighters are being overpaid and all of this money's coming in and bad business practices and, you know, people are losing money, right? It makes me feel like someone's squandering money. You know, that's directly where my mind goes, because, you know, I'm not just accepting what you're telling me, you know. I'm looking to do a deep dive to try to understand if there was this, you know, exorbitant amount of money, and out of that exorbitant amount of money, a huge portion of that were being paid to fighters, you know, probably 2, 3, 4 times more than what they deserved. If that's happening, then what's happening to everybody around them? You see, that's my question. But was everybody getting overpaid? Was everybody out there living high off the hog? And that's a serious question. Now, Rick did respond and tell me that, hey, you know, I didn't say that, and I didn't imply that. So he's right, he didn't. But then I come and say, if he was overpaying fighters, then we can assume he was overpaid too, right? Like, basically, like, right? And then he goes and he says there's no correlation between the two whatsoever. Now, for me, I'm going to tell you right now, I think there is a correlation between the two, because if I'm the guy who has all of this money, right, and I'm going to pay you an inflated fight purse, something that you really don't deserve. I mean, I got to make a profit too, right? So if the fight purse is inflated, then my percentage of that fight purse is inflated too. That's what the hell is being implied here. Now, if I'm wrong, leave that in the comments and tell me I'm wrong. So that means everyone who was involved in handling the budget for fighters' salary, fighters' pay, right? Even the pay-per-view splits and everything else, because everything was supposed to be inflated, right? That means that the percentage that Showtime was getting, PBC was getting, the distributor, the cable network, and the promoter. That means that whatever percentage they were getting, that means that was inflated too, right? Because now you're talking about if a fighter was getting, let's say, 10 million, and they really only should have been getting, based on what their market value was, instead of that inflated fight purse, say instead of 10 million, they should have only been getting 2 million. That means that percentage that the distributor, cable network, and promoter were getting from that 10 million should have been coming out of 2 million, which in turn means they should have been getting far less than what they were getting paid. Now, I'm going to go ahead and throw that out there because a lot of these people on Twitter, there's some smart people there, but there's some not so smart people there who can't do a deep dive, who don't stop and think. You know what I'm saying? It's because they haven't been put in those situations to where they have to evolve their way of thinking to ask the 7, but why? Why? 7 times. And by the time you get to the 8th or 9th why, you'll start to get some answers. It's just like asking someone, how you doing? They'll be like, nah, I'm good. But like, nah, how you doing? I told you, nah, but really, how you doing? Man, how many times you have me? Look, how you doing? By the time you get to the 5th or 6th or 7th, how you doing? Most people will start to tell you how they doing. And others may, react a little bit crazy, but for the most part, you can get a person to talk. So that being said, very, very interesting. The secret society is real. Corruption in boxing is real. But is it that PBC and Showtime just being hated on because they were able to figure out a way to win and to make sure that fighters won? And now it looks like they may go on to something, just as grand as the deal that was in place with Showtime, or maybe even bigger. Are people jealous? Are people hating? Or are they making valid points with their concerns and what little bit of knowledge they do know? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm just a retired guy who sits here with his phone in the morning after I drop my kids off at school. I'll sit in my garage, right? 3-car garage. It's like 3.5. I'll sit out there. I'll make about 20, 25 YouTube short videos. Come inside, get ready, go. I may do 2 regular videos, then I'll go exercise. Then I'll come back, start getting the house together and everything, man, because my wife works. I'm retired. Then I start either go eat lunch with my kids, or I may do a couple more videos. And then I chill because my sons come home. And then I'll take one to a basketball practice. I'll take the other 3 with me to train. And then on other days, the other ones go to a football practice. You know what I'm saying? But 2 days out of the week, I train all my sons, basketball and boxing. So I don't get back on here until nighttime, probably about 9:30 when all my sons have gone back to sleep. And then I'll come out here from like 9:30 to 11 and try to pump out like 3-4 more videos. So what I'm telling you is, I'm just a retired guy who likes boxing, and I sit here and make videos and I read a lot, and I just try to piece things together and stitch together something to make you think. But I'm not a guy who's in on any conversations. I don't have any no one's told me anything. It's me sitting here reading and listening and just trying to really understand. I hear what they're saying here, but look at what happened over here. And last year this happened, and 4 years ago this happened. And it seems to be a pattern. And well, he said this about that, but this is what happened with this person. let's understand how come this person being affected by this decision. And that's what I do. So I'm just a thinking guy who likes to have a conversation. But I am not part of these decision-making committees. I sure as hell don't have nothing to do with the secret society. So I want to make sure that I'm just having a conversation. But when I sit here and think about this whole thing about fighters being overpaid and inflated fight purses, if a person is going to come out and say that, Espinoza, Al Heyman ruined boxing because they were overpaying fighters, well, in my opinion, you're kind of saying that they were overpaying themselves too. Now, maybe they get paid through a different means. I'm not 100% on that. But I know when it comes to the money from pay-per-view, when it comes to these fight purses, I know the guarantees go straight to the fighter, but in some way, shape, or form, there's got to be some kind of monetary benefit. You can't make... there's got to be some kind of monetary benefit to Showtime, to the promoter. Of course, we know the promoter, but to Showtime. Like that's the one I'm most concerned with. I know for a fact Al Heyman's getting money because he's a promoter, but the distributor and the cable network, they get a piece of all that too. So if you're gonna take a dig at the fighters, you take a dig at a guy like Espinoza, and at least be fair. But don't come out here talking in code and then get cold feet when somebody asks you kind of pointed questions like what I'm asking. If you're going to be Al Capone, go all the way. And if you're right, you're right. But I'm going to always have a conversation about the things that I think are interesting. And I think this is very interesting. The overpaying was someone's hand in the cookie jar. That's what I want to know. That being said, y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.